and then sometimes you go, why did it do that? Like it's kind of a weird way to do things, and but yeah.
So show me some of the pictures. I think you've carried this around. I should feel really remiss not having a good look at it.
Well, these are just this was just returned from the APA entries. Actually, I don't think I've changed any of the photos out of it.
Do you do your own printing?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So this year I did. The previous year's not.
Oh, right. That adds another layer of learning that has to go on.
I thought it was it's great. I love the printing. So that's that's the image. Yeah. So it is obviously a composite. Well, not obviously, it is a composite.
I mean, one can theoretically do it, but
yeah. I did get into that lake with an underwater housing, and I got the line of the water. I got the blue underneath. I got this above.
Yeah.
And then I had to get other shots and put them together, and then I kind of thought, well, it looks kind of like a tooth there.
Yeah.
And then so I kind of got that, flipped it, stretched it, moved it, made this look kind of natural down the sides. And then I thought, it needs something interesting, so these are a separate image as well.
So you've well, how many images are in this image then? One, two,
three, effectively.
Yeah. Right.
It's which is not too many. I mean, it's it's lots of layers and lots of.
Well, the other side of it too is that the layering is to a purpose. It's not. It's got that integrity. It's like adding clouds to a sky or something.
Yeah. It needs to be done well, though. If you're doing these
so
things,
you're not thinking, you're not aware of it.
I mean, even I look at it, it's noticeable for me that it's obviously been flipped somehow. So I'm surprised the judges didn't comment on that, but obviously it was believable enough that they didn't think it was important. So
I think it's
cool to learn about the sharpening and color and use profiling of the papers, and big learning experience.
Well, the variables you now are starting once you got physical stuff, paper and inks, then you find yourself in that realm of the analog world. Where things are not straight line responses.
And I think I've got it down to very controlled now. I know, and even still, this is now I've got a custom profile for the printer. I think a lot of the guesswork has been taken out of it.
You characterized out the whole chain.
Yeah, I mean, these have some of these have been printed several times just because I couldn't get the prints right, and I didn't have that custom profile. So.
Oh yes, this one.
It's interesting. The colors look very weird.
It's actually, really got a lovely tactility to
it. Looks different actually. I don't know why.
Well, we got this light
Maybe
too.
It's the light. Yeah. Not sure. Put that there. So I'll probably talk about that image here.
Great, fantastic. If you want to do about two of them, we can do that. It's not a problem.
So I mean, they again, like sharpening. It looks like there's a lot of texture in there.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely, I know they mark down on sharpening, but then they like the grittiness. So
if you want to have that, you want to have a sense of tactility to it.
Yeah.
You're going to have
to. So it does look, almost over sharpened to me, looking at that, but they were happy with it. Yeah. But there's no obvious halos maybe around here. It's slightly, I prefer it slightly softer. But I'll try to perfect that, absolutely. Even look at my last year's APA entries and I'm like, what was I thinking with that? So kind of, these are all Iceland, Norway. This was the last year I could enter them into the APAs, because now it's past that, the 2 year, the entries have to be from the previous 2 years.
Oh, right,
So yeah, next year I'm not sure what I'm entering. I don't have the same body of work.
And that entire process, is that what would you say has been the positives out of entering and competing? How would you describe that for your own work? What?
I think it's the competitive nature of it has driven me. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it goes back to that, being competitive with my friend
With
as
your
well.
friend,
And I get mad if I'm not doing well.
You play any sport?
No, I don't. No, I don't like sport actually. I find it a waste of time for the most part. I do exercise, but I used to do team activities, but no, I never watch sport, and yeah.
Okay.
So it's interesting, but I'm very competitive.
Yeah.
Whenever I do anything like that, and so yeah, I always look at the Apis as that's the kind of pinnacle of I want to win that one year, and it's a different type of photography I think that tends to win that. And it's definitely more along these lines, but there also has to be some conceptual. It needs to have a story behind it, and I struggle with that.
Having an explicit narrative, I mean,
or at least one that they find. It doesn't necessarily need to be your own. So which is kind of bad. I guess you're as a visual medium, you're trying to communicate.
Well, and that's one of those areas too where I think what is being communicated with an image.
Yeah.
If you get too explicit, it becomes didactic or oftentimes quite uninteresting.
Yeah.
Right. And if it's too unconscious, then it lacks a sort of integrity.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's
the thing. It's very different. Yeah.
It's like art. It's any art.
Yeah, it is.
Really,
Well, it's an art, and that means.
And people look at an image and go, "Oh, this means that to me," and I'm like,
"Yeah."
I find that very strange.
Yeah, that stimulates a particular response.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm missing that gene or something. Although I do try, and think of that now more than I used to.
Well, it sounds to me as though you take you have quite a methodical outlook in a way.
Yeah.
You're a methodical person.
It's an equation to winning, almost.
So
there's
it's something. Yeah, you think it through, think the steps through.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's what I'm doing with my photography and the style. I mean, these are very stylized images. And I know, people tend to respond well to that. There's a bit of grain on that as well, but but I think it's sharpened nicely. So that's a single shot, but I ended up having to bring in another shot here because I shot at f5.6, I think, and this was at focus.
That was just a little bit out.
So I ended up bringing another shot.
So when you were shooting, you had enough extras, and you could multiple
thankfully,
images, different apertures or whatever.
Or
just different focus points where you focused.
And the other one was really the quality was horrible. It was massively underexposed, but I managed to bring it up enough.
Pull it up, which you can do to an extent that's remarkable nowadays.
Yeah.
Modern imagery.
I mean, there's still detail all through there, and it's not too.
Yeah, it's not. There's not flat. There's just flat, featureless.
So I'm hoping America will do me well, and I'll get some decent shots there.
Well, you're going at a good time of year, quite an interesting time of year from the standpoint of weather, and also from the standpoint of crowds.
Yeah.
You can go to Yosemite. Well, it depends on the snow.
Busy,
if it gets shut.
I mean, I do. Back to your question, I just remembered. I mean, every year I've been going to the snow and camping. I camp in the snow, and I definitely prefer winter landscapes just because of them, being minimalist and clean lines, and subjects stand out a lot more. So
yeah.
Iceland, I went in the winter. There's not so much snow in these, but yeah, every year I went to Kosciuszko and camped there for.
And you camp, and is camping and working that way something you do elsewhere as well? Do you camp? Do photographic expeditions that involve camping?
Yeah, I tend. Yeah, like I definitely have a lot of lightweight gear, and I've invested in decent gear to allow me to go to some of these places. But it's mostly through just winter camping. So in France, I'd go up to the mountains there and camp in the snow as well. So yeah, it's just because it's something that not